Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Bookeemonsters. My name is PK, and every day of the work week, we look at the new releases that are being set out into the wild this week, and we look at them genre by genre, day by day. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at regular mysteries. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. Thursdays, like today, we're going to look at fantasy and science fiction. Fridays are kind of a catch-all potpourri, usually more cozy mysteries because there's a lot of them, but we kind of leave that as an open day. Quick announcement, we do have sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. It goes for 2.5 hours. We listen to ambient noises, music per se, usually nature-ish, and that is a time carved out for you to do whatever you want to do. If it's just sitting back after a long day, closing your eyes and meditating, that's certainly okay. You can read a book, you can work on a project. So that is tonight, 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. And like I mentioned, today we are looking at fantasy and science fiction. Let's see what is out there. We'll start here. We already looked at A Demon's Guide to Wooing the Witch yesterday as part of romance. This is Godly Heathens by H.E. Edgman, fantasy romance young adult. 400 pages. It's the first in a fantasy duology. It says, maybe I have always just been bad at being human because I'm not one. Jem Eccles is a non-binary Seminole teen, well, let's just check all the boxes, living in the tiny town of Gracie, Georgia. Known for being their peers' queer awakening, Jem leans hard on charm to disguise the anxious mess they are beneath. The only person privy to their authentic self is another trans kid, Enzo, who's 1,000 long, painful miles away in Brooklyn. I'm going to stop there. If this is something you are more interested in, that is Godly Heathens by H.E. Edgman. To be honest, I read fiction to get away from all the mess of what's going on in real life. So we're going to move on. That has too many issues. Kingdom of Without by Andrea Tang, science fiction young adult. When Zhang Ninger takes the job, she expects a smash and grab burglary she's doing to make rent and help out a friend. What she doesn't expect, a sad-eyed army boy who dreams of insurrection, a former rebel leader trapped inside a secret lab, a group of aspiring revolutionaries who are first collaborators, then compatriots, and then perhaps friends. But this is Beijing nearly 150 years after General Yuan Shikai successfully declared himself emperor in 1915. His descendants rule the country from their seat in the imperial city. Their gendarmerie, the Beijing army, runs the streets, aided by cyborgs and the brocade guard. Walls have risen, dividing the city into districts called rings, nominally only by geography, but in truth by class. Earthquakes devastate the northern farmlands, crops drown in the southern typhoons, and all over the country, people are hooked on a drug they call complacency. As a six-ring girl who watched previous uprisings crushed brutally by the court, Ninger I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong, isn't much of an optimist, and she's certainly no revolutionary. But that might not be up to her. As the stakes get higher, the time for passivity is quickly running out, and she must decide if she wants to sit idly in her cynicism or embrace the breathless, terrible possibility of hope. Like Thunder by Nadi Okorafor. Science fiction. It's a sequel to Shadow Speaker. Niger, West Africa, 2077. Welcome back. This second volume is a breathtaking story that sweeps across the sands of the Sahara, flies up to the peaks of the Air Mountains, cartwheels into a wild megacity. You get the idea. I am the desert magician. I bring water where there is none. This book begins with, I'm not even going to attempt that name, slowly losing his mind. Yes, that boy who can bring rain just by thinking about it is having some issues. Years ago, we went on an epic journey to save Earth with the Shadow Speaker girl, Eiji e.g., who became his best friend. When it was all over, they went their separate ways, but now he's learned their quest never really ended at all. Shards of Glass by Michelle Segara. Fantasy. The academia, once an elite proving ground for the rulers of the world, has been frozen for centuries. Now its strange slumber has ended, and a new chancellor, an orange eyed dragon, has reopened its lecture halls and readied its dorms. In order to thrive once more, however, the academia needs fresh blood, new students with a passion and talent for learning. One such student, Robin, has the perfect recruit in mind, his friend Raven, an orphan who lives in the dangerous Warrens. Robin grew up in the Warrens, and he wouldn't have made it if not for Raven. He knows she'll be safe at the academia where her unusual gifts can be appreciated. But when students start turning up dead, the campus threatens to collapse completely. Raven and Robin will not let that happen to their new home if they can survive long enough to figure out who or what is trying to kill them. Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson. Reimagining of the Nutcracker tells the tale of twin sisters divided by envy and magic set against each other one fateful Christmas Eve. So this is quite seasonal if you want a seasonal fantasy. Light and Dark. This is the cursed birthright placed upon Clara and Natasha by their godfather, Drosselmeyer, whose power and greed hold an entire city in his sway. Charming Clara, the favorite, grows into a life of beauty and ease, while Natasha is relegated to her sister's shadow, ignored and unloved. But Natasha seizes the opportunity for revenge one Christmas Eve when Drosselmeyer arrives at the family gala with the Nutcracker, an enchanted gift that offers entry into an alternate world, the Kingdom of Sweets. Following Clara into the glittering land of snow and sugar, Natasha discovers a source of power far greater than Drosselmeyer, the sugar plum fairy who offers her own wondrous gifts and chilling bargains. But as Natasha uncovers the truth about a dark destiny crafted long before her birth, she must reckon with forces both earthly and magical, human and diabolical, and decide to which world she truly belongs. Again, if you are a fantasy reader and want something seasonal, that sounds like just the ticket. And I'm closing tabs as we are getting there. There was one I was interested actually on another. Sorry, I need to do a little scrolling here. Here it is. I've read this author recently, and so I wanted to check this one out. Oh, it's a short story collection. Bother. Jennifer Estep, Stings and Stones, an Elemental Assassin short story collection, 251 pages. Gotcha. All right. This is more fantasy. And we are going to check the November 25th. Yep, okay. Lady True and the Dreamin' Warrior of Hanoi by Mark W. Sass. An ancient warrior awakens to fight for her people. Modern day Hanoi, a giant shadowy menace, has been terrorizing the capital of Vietnam for 2 years as Chinese troops occupy the city. But old Mr. Tho sees something he can't quite believe. He's convinced that the indomitable warrior is actually an ancient Chinese emperor brought back to life. Mr. Tho, along with his neighbor and her son, try the unthinkable. They attempt to summon the spirit of Lady True, the lauded Vietnamese heroine who repelled the Chinese 2 millennia ago. To do so, they decide to plunge beneath the depths of mysterious Hoan Kiem Lake at the center of Hanoi, and in hopes that Mr. Tho's 4 magical marble tablets will allow history to come to life. Interesting. We've got a lot to get through, so we're going to shorten some of these. Because the clock is ticking. That is a pretty cover. And it's 737 pages. And it's Kindle Unlimited. And it came out in October. Bother. We're long past that. Dark clouder cats. Also October. Yay, website. We looked at that one. Mercedes Lackey. Anthology of short stories. 409 pages, though. And it came out this week. What the heck? We'll look at it. Mercedes Lackey. Oh, edited by Mercedes Lackey. Short story set in the beloved Valdemar high fantasy universe. I admit I've not read any of her books. I meant to. It is on my long-term TBR. The heralds of Valdemar are the kingdom's ancient order protectors. They are drawn from all across the land, from all walks of life and all ages, and all are gifted with abilities beyond those of normal men and women. They are mind speakers, farseers, empaths, foreseers, fire starters, far speakers, and more. These inborn talents, combined with training as emissaries, spies, judges, diplomats, scouts, counselors, warriors, and more, make them indispensable to their monarch and realm. Very interesting. And science fiction, they are saying. The Divine Darkness. Kindle Unlimited. Interesting cover. November 24th. Technically, what, wasn't that last week? That was last week. This is by Lee Mitchell. Alicia Brown led a mundane life until the day monsters started trying to kill her and random strangers began to shy away from her in awe. All hell broke loose quite literally after Randy Thomas turned right on Maine for honeys instead of making a left for home, and then murdered his beloved wife in an unusually gruesome way, escaping police and stopping traffic in New York City with a gas-spewing tentacle erupting from his mouth. His fears are confirmed that one small black slide would serve as the final tipping point for all mankind, inviting in a timeless destructive force that would lead him to the frontiers of the war to end all wars. I wouldn't necessarily say that is science fiction. That's more fantasy and very dark. I think the definition of science fiction and fantasy has gotten blurred, hard blurring in recent years. This was also last week. The Lost Family Robinson by Alan Priest. Family travel is never easy, but time travel is the worst. When the four Robinson brothers, Fred the astrophysicist, Ernie the martyr, Jack the jokester, and Will the peacekeeper, along with their wives and children, are pulled back into northern Nevada's gambling and mining past, they will have to learn how to set aside their issues with each other to get back home. For whatever their family problems are, they will need to resolve them fast because a rogue member of the Observation Council isn't adhering to the observation part of the council. And if he figures out how to steal the Robinsons' time technology before they can get home, the Robinsons will find themselves lost in the past forever. Now that's science fiction. Anne Byrne. We had a customer come in yesterday and she was talking about her granddaughter named Lincoln, last name Smith, middle name Arrow, Aero, as in Aerosmith, Lincoln Aerosmith, because the dad really likes the band. Oh, what these parents do to their kids. This is Anne Byrne by Matthew Mather, second in the Aeon series. Let's double check. Yeah, this week. Wow, they shocked us. Kindle Unlimited. A week ago, the supernova Aeon detonated in the skies over Antarctica. Mass migrations of humanity and animal life began northward. Secondary bursts of ionizing radiation knocked out worldwide power grids. Global temperatures spiked. Oceans rose as seawater expanded and glaciers melted. Massive storms and acid rains scour the planet. The southern continent is literally melting under the feet of Dr. Jin Ru as she's trapped at the South Pole, and she is perhaps the only person in the world with full accounting of the data recorded when Ian exploded. Thousands of miles away in the Amazon, Max Carver struggles to stay alive while attempting to stop his old friend and brother Ben Belloc escaping from the colony. But the only thing Max really wants is to get north of the equator and find his pregnant wife Talisha as she's about to give birth. Talisha, meanwhile, has joined millions of AN refugees on the roads of America. Most cars have been rendered inoperable by the supernova burst, and all communications and power grids are down. But for Tal, on the verge of giving birth in a suddenly very unforgiving world, all of this is even less important than the revelation she has just learned. Da, 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 da. Peacemaker Wars by J.N. Chaney, first of the Peacemaker Wars series. Kindle Unlimited, 532 pages, out this week. J.N. Chaney and Terry Maggart. Sorry. Now, that is a fun cover. Would you choose to live an ordinary life or embrace a destiny among the stars? In a single act of courage, a young American soldier named Mark Tudor saves an interstellar soldier from certain death at the hands of a vicious killer. Afterward, she promises to show him the galaxy, but only if he leaves his old life behind. Mark must fly far away from the only home he's ever known towards a life not so different from that of a humble soldier. Out, out among the asteroids, he learns of swords and honors, starships and empires. He learns what it means to be a peacemaker. Along the way, he's joined by Perry, his combat AI companion, who helps him survive and earn a living among the stars. And to his surprise, his first mission is far from simple, and it may prove to be his last. Now that's science fiction. Okay, this wins best title of the week. Babysitter of the Apocalypse. Yeah, I would read it just for that alone. This is by Courtney Constantin. Constantin. In a world overrun by the undead. Now you can hear that in that movie trailer voice. In a world overrun by the undead, with no experience in parenthood and an empty past that haunts her every step, Vicky is the last person you'd expect to be a caregiver. A borderline alcoholic struggling to keep her own demons at bay, she's suddenly thrust into the role of protector for two young children. But just as I think they can take a breath and relax, tragedy strikes, leaving Vicky and the kids alone with a mysterious newcomer. Desperate for safety and a sense of belonging, they join forces, forming a fragile survival group. As the days turn into weeks and the bond between Vicky and the children deepens, she discovers that she may need them as much as they need her. Together, they navigate a world where the line between life and death is blurred, finding hope and humanity in the most unexpected places. Yet the zombies are not their only threat. Yeah, that wins best title. All right, let's go to this site and see what else might be. Hang on, we're scrolling. Whee, whee. Okay, we'll see what in the couple minutes we have left. What? Nope. No, couple westerns. We are looking for fantasy and science fiction today. We might have hit them all. Nope. Romance fantasy. Let's see if this one is out this week. Kindle Unlimited by Kit Roca. Familiar with that author? Yep, out this week. First in the Bound to Fire and Steel series, 394 pages. From cult favorite writing duo Kit Roca comes a fiery novel set in a lush fantasy world brimming with ancient magic, dangerous circuits, and erotic connections. For 3,000 years, an ancient dragon god has protected the borders of the sheltered lands. In return, he makes only one demand. Every 100 years, the mortal ruler must send their heir to serve as his consort for as long as they can survive. Seychelle of House Rokbar is the 31st consort to be sacrificed to the monster who guards the mountain passes. She is young, beautiful, and she has three secrets. First, she's a disposable orphan trained in seduction. Second, her handmaid, Zanya, is an assassin and the only person she has ever loved. Third and most dangerous, she's cursed. Sachi and Zanya have 5 weeks to murder the dragon in his bed. If they fail, the mortal king's curse will steal not just Sachi's life, but her very soul. The dragon has only one secret. He is nothing like what they have been told, and he will do whatever it takes to possess them both. I am sensing threesomes. You know I'm not wrong. Did I get rid of that? Hey, Annalise. Good morning, good afternoon. Zombies. Absolutely. Yes, I might try it too. It's interesting. All right, we're looking. We only got another minute left. We'll just look at titles here. Oh, we're out of time. Now, some of these might not have the actual release this week. They are saying this week. This one's called Exorcism by Han Song, science fiction, dystopian, and humor. Scrolling. Fantasy urban. Jack Girls by Danielle Marcus. Fantasy urban thriller crime. Donald Goines, Kenyatta's Escape. We're looking. I think we're out of time. I got to get to work early today. Well, I hope you guys have a good Thursday. Here's another science fiction. Summer's End by John Van Stry. All right, on that note, we always run out of time. On that note, thank you guys very much for showing up. Thank you, Annalise, for popping in. I appreciate that so much. We do have sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. And bring your own book, work on a project, just close your eyes and relax from a hard day. Do whatever you like. This is time carved out for you. And other than that, I hope you are reading good things. And remember, if you're not reading a good thing, it's okay to set it down. I give you permission. It's not a contest. It's not an assignment. Reading is fun. And it's just not the right time for that book for you. It's okay. Oh, thank you. I'm going to be hopefully doing a whole bunch of invoices. Yay. Hope you are having a good day. It's afternoon where you are, so you're going to be winding down soon. So thank you very, very much. Hope to see you tonight. If not, hope to see you tomorrow morning. Same time, we'll be looking at cozy mysteries and other things, perhaps. So we'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. God bless.